All right, here we go. We're going live, girls. Yay, live.
Hello.
So good.
There we go.
Woo. There
Happy
it is.
almost Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not monitoring the Facebook yet because I'm still letting people in the waiting room. So Patricia has joined us. Welcome, Patricia. Glad to be here.
Welcome. Hey, do you guys mind if I start making this ice cream? Because the longer this thing gets warmer, the not as well it's going to work.
No, go, start. You want to tell everybody what you
So I'm making almond milk ice cream, which is great unless you have an almond milk allergy. But the recipe, I had to kind of dig back because I've used this for a while now, but it's from Chocolate Covered Katie. And she has a lot of good allergy-free recipes. You can also use coconut milk and coconut butter or whatever sort of thing that works with your allergen. But, you know, we live in Atlanta. It's hot like it is in most of the country. So you want to take your, and I put this in the freezer for about 10 minutes before we make it. And so this is vanilla almond milk, and it's 2 cups. You just pour it in.
just to get it really cold. Is that why you're in here?
Yeah, to get it really cold.
Oh,
Then
nice.
this is almond chocolate butter that if you watched my stories yesterday or on Facebook, I made yesterday. It's just almonds, a package of almonds, dairy-free, allergy-friendly chocolate chip cookies blended after I roasted the almonds. And that's something we just kind of like to keep around the house. And I also keep the blender and the blade in the freezer for about half an hour before I make it. Just, it keeps everything a little extra cool. That's a trick I actually learned from my mother, I don't know, a long time ago. Then whatever sweetener, about 1/3 cup of sweetener. I thought I had regular sugar. I did not. So we're trying powdered sugar today. Just 1/3 cup. And then our salt, which is 1/4 teaspoon with 1/8 of a teaspoon. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. And you don't have to use the chocolate sun butter, chocolate almond butter, kind of whatever you like. You can use different flavors of milk and things like that. But this is what my kids like, so this is what I'm making. And this is it. You just put the top on and blend it for about 2 minutes. And it comes out. And if it's not quite cool and creamy enough, you can put it into ice cube trays or, you know, really cups or whatever to kind of make it cooler and more frozen like traditional ice cream, which you kind of have to do sometimes. So I will mute myself while I blend and show you the finished product in a few minutes, but it's just a regular high-speed Ninja blender.
Oh, wow. That sounds delicious, y'all. Now I want ice cream.
Yes. Me too.
It's been cool. It's cooled down the last couple of days here. So we're not as hot as Atlanta. We were in the 90s for a while, and then we got back to the 80s. And I think today we're creeping back to the 90s. Which is
Yeah, we're in the 90s and storms.
Yeah, we just got one. I was hoping that the power wasn't going to go out.
Yeah, y'all are a little later than I am. So we get ours later in the day too, like usually around 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So far, so good today. We're good. I'm trying to get this Facebook Live on my iPad so I can keep up if there are comments. Aller Cuisine. I've got a Sunday
We don't have ice cream in the freezer.
There it is. Whoops. Okay. You know, there's such a delay on the live. It's kind of funny.
On the Facebook one?
Yeah. So, Leah, how often do you make this? Just still blending.
Yeah, blending.
I'm blending. But I make it probably once a week. Is it too noisy?
You make it how much?
About once a week. Really easy. Give me another 15 seconds and I'll be done blending.
She's putting it in a wine glass.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry, I swear I do other things than drink wine during the day.
Are you
Don't
drinking
drink extra for me, please.
left from last night? I'm a little confused.
So I could already tell while it was blending that it did not come super thick because, of course, we're on camera.
Looks good though.
But it is. It's delicious. I'm going to stick it in the freezer for 20 minutes, and then you kind of reblend it up, and it's just like ice cream.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I have had times, I think maybe I didn't use the right kind of salt because I didn't have rock salt, and that makes a huge difference. So this is going to go in the freezer,
So
and we will have ice cream.
Leah, you just stick the glass in the freezer and it's okay? It doesn't crack or anything?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's only in there for 20 minutes, and it's not sealed. It just rises.
That's because everything else you were using was already cold too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you know, I've been out for a few minutes while we were dealing with technical issues. So if it's really cold, like even sometimes I'll put the blender in the freezer overnight.
Mhm.
So it's really cold makes a big difference.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, if we weren't on live, it would have been perfect. You know, when I made it last week, it came out smooth and creamy. So, and you can keep it even just, you know, as liquid in the refrigerator for a couple of days. I don't usually, well, it doesn't last more than 2 days, but I think the most I've ever kept it is 3. And then if you put it back in the blender kind of frozen and blend it up, it gets like soft ice cream.
Mm.
Yum.
So that's our kind of summer treat.
That sounds amazing.
No. And now I'm just so excited that I can do ice cream at home. I just have to go buy some. Because I'm not patient enough. Once it's done, I want to eat it right then.
Yep.
Right then. Martha, what are you making?
Oh my goodness, a couple different things. I've never done this on the laptop before, so we'll see how this turns out as far as like camera angle and all that good stuff on the laptop. But it was working, so we're gonna go with it. So I have what is it called? I'm taking the Thai recipe of Dee Dee's that I did last time that was kind of thrown together, and this time I'm doing a little bit different. So what I did is I took it's Thai chicken wraps. Of course, we'll have everything linked after we post or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm using whole chicken, and I actually kind of marinated it overnight and I cut it in pieces and that kind of thing. And technically last time I used the cabbage, but this Kara's allergic to cabbage, so she couldn't really eat everything that I made last time, so I felt bad. So I'm trading out the cabbage. I put some parsley in it, put some squash and that kind of thing. And so we'll pan sear that. Have my wok there. And then I'm making tortillas. So I'm making like a fusion tortillas, and I'm using Colette and Franks Gluten-Free Goodness. I don't know if anybody's heard of them.
No, that's a new one.
I met them like over a year ago now when I was in Ohio, and they're a great blend. And it's, if you're like allergic to, can't do any type of grains, but they're gluten-free, and the top 8 major allergen-free as well. And like one of the main ingredients is garbanzo beans. They use flax seeds, but they use no grains. So if you have somebody that can't use any grains at all, it's a really great alternative. And I was really kind of skeptical about like a bean flour being any good, you know, because I didn't want the bean flavor to really come through. And it doesn't if you use it right. So I'm making tortillas, which I've never done this with their flour before. And then I'm going to put spices in with the tortillas. But the recipe, they have recipes on their online, and the tortilla is just like 1 cup of water, a half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a cup of the multi-purpose mix that they have, and then I'm adding some spices like paprika, pepper, and onion powder to kind of like fusion, since I don't have any lettuce, so I was kind of like trying to change it up a little bit. So I guess I will start mixing up the tortillas. If anybody wants to go over their ingredients, I guess, or whatever. Well, I'm going to see if I can get this where you all can see it. If you can't, let me know. I'm like,
Get the torso.
I'm like, where is it at?
All right, Tracy, what you got?
Okay, so again, I'm going to be in the same boat as Martha after I explain. I'm going to have to tilt it so nobody will see my face, but that's fine. So today I'm making my gluten-free chocolate chip sun butter pancakes. I will link the recipe. I'm not going to say specifics on measurements and ingredients because I'm just going to throw a small batch together today, but everything will be in the link. So today I'm using Hungry Harry's pancake and waffle mix. So the thing I've noticed about gluten-free pancakes, and it took me like 3 years to come up with a really decent, fluffy recipe. A couple things I'll go over. You have to find a really good pancake mix. I tried a bunch of them, and Hungry Harry's is my #1 so far.
Hungry Harry's is good.
I love them so much.
I'm also using Red Nail Egg Replacer. And let me see. I use almond breeze because we can have almond milk, but you can use any dairy-free milk you want. You can use water. That's fine too. So what you want to do is, I noticed one of my problems when I was trying to find a good recipe to put together was if I followed the directions on the package, a lot of times they wanted too much liquid. So the pancakes would be really watery and thin, and they would just be crappy when they came out when they were done. So I always say you want to make sure that your mix is ultimately going to be more like a thick cake batter versus a watery pancake mix. And that's how part of the reason you're going to get those thicker gluten-free egg-free pancakes. Okay. So what I do is, because I don't have egg in, I also use an applesauce.
So my daughter just came in and she just got an email. Just come say hi, just for what she doesn't want to exert. She didn't do her hair, which is beautiful. So
She's beautiful.
Lovely.
But she just got news from her school that now they weren't sure what they were doing, and the latest announcement is they're going to go to school half days every day, and then do the second half of the day at home.
And how do you feel about that?
I definitely do not like that. I mean, I understand we have to follow what the CDC says, but we're going to have to wear masks, and we have to stay in the same group all day, every day. And it's only for like 4 hours, and there's no sports, no clubs, no nothing. So
You're disappointed.
It seems like a lot to do in a day, go half and half.
Yeah. Are other kids going the other half a day? Is that, are they breaking it up?
No, so I don't know if they're staggering it or what they're doing.
From what I read, they're not. You can do 100% online where you just don't go to school at all, or you can do the 4 periods in school. It's only the 12:45, 8:30 to 12:45 every single day.
So I imagine a lot with the online, so they don't have the population. So that's the door going.
Interesting. That's a new. I haven't heard that one yet. So that's definitely a new one.
The new spin.
We should find out tomorrow if we're going to start 100% virtually, because our numbers have gone up to where we're in the red zone in our county. So they'd already pushed it back for a week. The other thing they were thinking is pushing back to September 8th.
Yeah,
we need school to start.
September 1st. So we don't start.
We were supposed to start August 6th. Right now we're on August 13th, and they keep pushing it.
Yeah, they just announced for us the all grades, because originally lower grades through I think 6th grade were going to go to school, and then the upper grades were just going to do virtual. But they just decided all grades are going to go virtual, completely virtual for at least the first 9 weeks, and then they're going to reevaluate.
Yeah, we're doing 6 weeks. Yeah.
I'm writing about how to do virtual school for teachers who've never done it before. It's frustrating. Okay, I'm making. Are you gonna leave me out? Oh, baby, careful. I put the stool there. Sit in a minute. I'm making an Asian salad with a peanut dressing that's peanut free. And this is one of my favorite salads. I eat salad every day, so I make a big batch and then I eat it all week long. And I'll post the recipe like you guys just finished. But it's 3 cups of cabbage, and I use red wine, so I mix that all up. And then a carrot, all shredded peanut right here. and 5 radishes that are cut really sliced thinly. So I use a mandolin to get them really, really thin because I don't like big chunks of radish in my food. I like radish, I just don't like, it's too radishy. And then a
Too
table.
peppery for me.
What?
I said too peppery for me if you get it too thick.
Yeah.
Radishes.
Yeah, it's too much. And then a tablespoon of sesame seed if you don't have an issue with sesame seed. If you have an issue with sesame, don't use it. So you won't miss it that much. You know what I would use in place of that is hemp seeds. I love hemp as a replacement for sesame, but we don't have a sesame allergy. And then like 3 or 4 scallions all diced up, chopped up. And that's basically the root of the salad. You can throw protein in there. You can use chicken or Lindley's going to bed. She can't wait to see how our dishes turn out. Aww.
Good.
Oh,
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for joining us.
I know it's late there in England.
oh, England. Oh, it is late there. But yeah, you could throw
Yeah,
any
it's very late there.
chicken or pork or steak or whatever. We don't have a shellfish allergy in our house, so I like to use these little Bambino shrimps. I put about 12 ounces in the little baby shrimps, and they come frozen, and I just set them in the sink until they thaw. That's the extent of that. And I put 12 ounces of protein in there because that gives me 3 ounces a day, 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
That works. And it also calls for noodles. So you can use any noodle, gluten-free noodle, zoodles, whatever you like. I have found these little babies, these palminis. You guys familiar with these palminis?
No.
So this is a hearts of palm noodle. And as you know, I'm trying to shed my COVID coat. So this is calories a serving. This whole bag has 2.5 servings. So 50 calories for this whole bag. And it has 4 grams of carbs per serving. So it's really low in carbs, and it's made from hearts of palm. I use those guys, and I just run them under hot water to heat them up, and that's all it needs. And I take the peanut dressing, the peanut-less dressing, and I put it over the noodles and stick them in the fridge for a little bit so it absorbs into the noodles so you get more of the flavor. And the dressing is awesome, and it is so easy to make, y'all. It's just whatever butter you want to use. If you can do nut butters, you can do nut butters. You can do some butter. You can do wow butter, which is soy-based if you don't have a soy allergy. I like that. And a little bit of sriracha, these coconut aminos, rice vinegar, 0 sugar. I don't use the sweet stuff. And a little sesame oil. If you can't do sesame, you can do whatever oil you like, avocado, olive, whatever. I like the flavor of the sesame. That's what I use. And then you just put it all together, and then have lunch for 4 days.
That's
4 days.
awesome.
Yeah. That all in there and go to town. It's so good. And the longer it sits, every day it gets better and better because that peanut dressing just absorbs into everything.
Oh yeah, into the noodles.
It's so good. So we just mix that up.
Okay, so quick update on my recipe.
From the Muppet. Like, yeah. Muppet Chef. So I have about 2 cups a day, and I swear y'all, I eat this all the time. My family laughs at me. I'm very boring with my food.
Hey, Tracy, how's your pancakes coming?
Okay, so I added, after the pancake mix and the egg replacer and everything, I added a little bit of butter. Again, can be dairy-free. You don't have to. You can use oil if you want to. Not too much, just about a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons. I put in raw honey. I put in cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, some vanilla, sun butter. Love having protein in it. It gives it just a really great taste. So I mix that in. The other thing that I noticed is when I add the baking powder, you also want to add in a few drops of lemon juice and let it sit for a minute. And that's going to also help thicken up the batter. Like I said, you don't want it too watery. You want it on the thicker side. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, last but not least, chocolate chips. Which, by the way, Enjoy Life Foods. If there was a big bar,
I would eat it.
A big bar.
The big bar, Trace.
They will make a big bar one day. They will. Because Jules and I are making a movie, so they will make a big bar.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
want them to get those white chips done too.
Yeah.
You can't do chocolate, right, Martha?
Yeah, no chocolate in this house, unfortunately.
All right, I'm gonna flip down my screen so hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. And I wanted to say I use an electric griddle. I found that it's easier. You don't have to, you do not grease it. That's going to make them spread out. You just want to leave it clean as it is. And I set it at 300 degrees. I think I need to add a little bit more pancake and waffle mix.
I'm going to eat in front of you all because I'm starving.
It looks awesome. I would eat it too.
They're really good. Isn't it pretty?
It is really pretty.
Ice cream.
I think it calls for a glass of wine, though.
I
Yes.
think you should drink some more wine.
Wait, I heard wine.
Yeah. My DSU Ram stuff. I have 2 daughters for Ram, so I have a lot of Ram stuff.
I almost have a tortilla too. It kind of looks like a pancake, but not as fluffy.
Well, my ice cream's coming along.
Everything in, so.
Tastes good.
So have y'all heard of One Hope wine?
No.
Heard of what? I'm sorry.
It's one of those, you know, where you have it delivered to your house, and every bottle you buy goes to support some. So this bottle helps fund the clinical trials to find a cure for breast cancer. That's what this bottle goes for. And then on the back, it gives you all the tasting notes.
Oh.
So all the tasting notes, alcohol profile, the wine profile. Yeah, it's a great little company. And my friend sells it, and so I buy it from her. And I give it to everybody for Christmas. They have fun little packs. Like they'll have a dog pack with all these little dog treats and dog goodies. And
So funny.
it's very cute. It's a nice concept.
Yeah, drinking for a cause. I think I can get behind that.
Me too.
Absolutely.
All about drinking for a cause.
You're gonna have to, Dee Dee, you're gonna have to email me that information. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah. I think that's a group email.
And it's a nice little on there. Like, just surprise me. So every month I get a surprise, 6 bottles of wine.
Those look good, Martha.
Thank you.
That's really good.
So little tidbit about gluten-free, egg-free pancakes. Typically they do not bubble. I know when you're making regular pancakes, everyone says wait for them to bubble to flip them over. These do not do that, so you kind of just have to eyeball them and sit down. You could always just peek underneath and see if they're looking brown.
Do they get dry on the top, Tracy?
You mean before you flip them?
Yeah.
No, they're still kind of watery.
Okay. I haven't made pancakes in so long. Maybe we'll have pancakes.
We do pancakes for dinner a lot, like Fridays for some reason. Mainly because I'm tired of cooking.
Yeah, when the kids
But
were
you
little,
can make
breakfast for dinner.
Yeah,
you can make a
Brenner,
big batch of those and freeze them, which is nice.
When we used to summer in North Carolina, we had a house there in the summers, and everybody would come to visit. And I had this big, I don't even know where it is. I think it's downstairs somewhere, a big pancake warmer. So I would get up and make giant breakfast for everyone, and then they could come down and eat at their leisure. And this way, their pancakes wouldn't get gross. So it would have so the steam could escape, but it would keep them warm. So everybody could eat whenever they wanted. That was our summer. We had pancakes almost every single day. Pancakes and bacon and fruit almost every day because we always had company coming.
Sounds good to me.
That's how we were in Florida. That's why I have to eat salad for the rest of the week.
Oh, goodness.
Martha, how's your chicken stuff coming?
The chicken itself is going pretty good. I don't think it's really great. I can't see if you all can see it all.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's starting to come together. Like I said, I had marinated it because I figured it'd be easier with coming in, because I literally I was at work at 4 a.m. and I got off at 1:30 and came here. So I think it's going pretty good. I hate electric stoves, and that's what I have.
Me too.
So, yeah, I hate them. So
Yeah, I hate it too. We have an electric stove. It's the worst.
it is. At work, everywhere else I've always had gas, because it's just great, because when it's done, it's done. The heat's off of it.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah,
No,
this is our only house that we've had
Yeah.
electric, and it's horrible.
No.
Yeah.
This was electric when we moved in, and I said, no, you need to run a gas line on that.
Well, we rent an apartment currently. We sold our house about 1.5 years ago, so we haven't tried to go buy anything for a little bit. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do.
Mhm. That's a good idea. I love watching this though. Those tortillas look really good.
Yeah, and they came together really quick, and I like the fact they have flaxseed in there, and so there's really not that big a deal, especially with egg-free. Their mixes transition to egg-free really well.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because I've never made homemade tortillas. I've had friends who have, but I'm so lazy. I just buy them.
I just buy them.
That's it.
Me too.
I use corn.
yeah, and then I can't digest a lot of corn. I have problems with it, so I was like, ooh, I was looking at their website, and I was like, just something else to do, and I was like, oh, I wonder how they would taste with tortillas, the flour. So I was like,
Tracy, can you move that plate over just a little bit so I can see your finished pancakes other way? There. Oh, those look really pretty.
Okay, so
they're fluffy.
I think I added a little bit too much applesauce because it was a smaller batch, but pop them on.
They look beautiful.
Oh, they look really good.
No. I could try them. Break my diet this weekend and have some peanut butter chocolate chip pancakes.
That's
Sunday.
ice cream too.
Okay, Leah's bringing out dessert.
Oh,
Okay.
Is it ready?
So you can try to see if you can see. It's hard to show thickness, but let's see.
Yeah, it is hard to show thickness.
But here we go.
It looks thicker than it did.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
probably
it
needs
does.
a few more minutes, but it's definitely getting there. But
Yum.
it's good.
It looks great. Yeah, that is a milk
It's really good.
It does look really good.
It's really good. We sometimes we'll put whipped cream on top of it for a special occasion. You can also, when you're making it, you can use like half almond milk and half almond yogurt to thicken it. It does have kind of a yogurty taste then. So I like to do this, and I don't know why it's quite so liquidy today, other than I'm doing it on camera, which I just feel like is why.
what happens, right?
It always happens. Something always goes wrong when I do demos or anything live. It just doesn't matter. And trying to think for the unexpected, you're never prepared. There's always something.
Yeah, I was going to make a batch yesterday, like in advance, and I was just exhausted. I was like, we'll be what it's going to be. But
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
this will still
It's
get
real
eaten.
life.
Yeah. The children who I've threatened within their lives to be quiet are upstairs and will come thundering down to eat it as soon as my husband says, release the hounds.
Oh, so mine's 15, so she just hibernates upstairs. I just don't see much of her.
Yeah, I don't have that problem yet. Now it's more like, get off me.
Well, I think even with boys, they're down more. They're
in
down
the kitchen a
and
lot.
out.
Yeah.
Put them to work, and that's how they stay out of the kitchen.
No, it doesn't work.
No.
Doesn't work.
Endless pits of whatever that they just eat constantly.
Yeah. My 10-year-old is always hungry. My 8-year-old is not far behind, but I swear my oldest turned 10 and he woke up hungry and it's been hungry since.
Boys,
They're always hungry.
Yeah, the boys are always hungry.
I never spent so much money on groceries in my life. We fostered 2 teenage boys. They were, I think, 15 and 17 at the time.
Oh my goodness.
Good. God, and I had these little bird-like girls, right? These little winged children who weigh as much as air. And my grocery, like, which I was at the grocery store every single day, cartfuls of food, and they just inhaled everything. I could not. Right? They were big boys too. They weren't little big boys. It was
Wow.
crazy.
I mean, my kids are waifs and they inhale food. I'm like, I don't understand where it's going. But they're never still either. Like, they were just in the pool for 2 hours. Just constant, it's constant motion. So, it's, I told my youngest the other day to stop running everywhere. I said, why do you run everywhere? You're going to get hurt. Why don't you run everywhere? Good point, because I'm tired. You make me tired.
Did you guys saw the movie Big with Tom Hanks? You see the movie Big?
Oh, yeah.
When he was practicing for that role, he went and observed boys that age just so that he could pick up the mannerisms because he hadn't been that age for a really long time. And his one observation was they don't walk anywhere. They run everywhere.
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 It's never. Oh, sorry. It's never ending motion in our house.
So
That is looking really good, Martha.
Yeah, I think it's almost there. It's pretty much done as far as the chicken, I think. And then the tortillas. Have a couple ready to go. Woohoo!
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't miss the kids being as young as they were. I mean, I miss them at times, but, the 2 boys I had, running around like crazy. No, I don't miss those days. And the in and out of the house.
Yes.
And they're not closing the door. Close the door. What?
Exactly. You weren't raised in a barn. All those things. Instead of, I'm not heating. Was it? I'm not cooling the whole entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
Can we
Tracy?
talk about one thing as moms that had boys? From age like 12 to whatever, what is that smell? Where did it come from? I don't understand.
We haven't hit 12 yet, and now I'm terrified.
What? And I love my son. He was clean. It wasn't like he was a dirty kid, but I don't know what happened, if it was hormones or I don't know. It always smelled like feet in his closet. I don't understand.
I'm guessing hormones.
Yeah, hormones, the sweat. I had to use special, because everything has to be scent free and everything for Kara. And so then I ended up having to start washing the boys' clothes separate, and they couldn't be with anybody else's because it would cross over. I don't know if yours did, Tracy, but they would cross over and I'd be like, what is that smell? And I'd be like, oh my gosh.
I spent an entire day one day. He was in school. I took everything out of his closet and washed it and put it back, and it still smelled. So I don't know. It wasn't him. It was just so bizarre.
Yeah, no, and I've talked to so many other boy moms, and it's the same thing. It has to be hormones, and I think some people have it more than the other. And I'm like, they've washed it every day. They were bathing. That's one thing I don't miss. Oh. Leah, hopefully we did not traumatize you too much yet.
All right, I'll just have a second glass tonight.
Okay, I'm going to try mine here, I think.
I used to call it the swamp smell when my brother was that age. He would come sit down and I'm like, ugh, you have swamps? He just played outside and rolled in whatever he could find to roll in.
Exactly.
Sorry, Leah. I'm back.
I OxyClean everything. Hopefully that will help.
That'll help. My friend just bathe in that Axe cologne.
Ugh.
This week, car cold, and he would get in the car. I don't know what's worse, whether you smell like a swamp or you smell like this.
Yeah, because then it just kind of covers up because it's still kind of there. I don't know, maybe it's just my nose, but I can still smell that swamp smell. And then it just smells perfectly over it.
I was in the high school. I gave a speech at a high school last spring, and I remember walking in, and it was in their gym. The bleachers were out, and And oh my gosh, I was like, there's a lot of smells going on here. And the principal said to me, you get used to it. I said, you do? He's like, not really.
Wow.
Good to know. Good to know.
Gosh.
Leah, wait till you get a whole van of boys all together.
I
Hormones.
refuse to have a van. I'm not getting a van.
Like,
Although my husband has a weird job, so we get different cars all the time. I never get to choose, so I should actually not say I will never get a van. I will get whatever shows up in the driveway.
Had a van.
But hopefully.
the terrible have driving new cars. Tracy, I love your dress.
Thank you.
Very pretty, very airy. I'm dressed like it's 30 degrees outside. How is it, Martha?
It's really good. The tortillas, I'm surprised they're actually like holding up really good too. Like I stuffed
You ready
them really
to
good.
show it off?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Some of the stuff came out of it, but it's holding up really good. It's got a lot in it. Whoa, sorry. I'm like, oh.
And that's important. How's the
Mm-hmm.
Can you finish that bite? I would love to know.
Sorry. What was that?
How is the texture of the tortilla?
It's really light and fluffy, and I really don't get any bean flavor or anything at all. It almost tastes like a flour tortilla. It has the texture of it, which is really surprising. But it's real light, but still sturdy.
Oh, very nice.
I mean, like it's still holding everything in. Well, except for what I'm shaking out, but you know, because of all the juice and that kind of thing.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'll probably make them again. They weren't that hard to make at all. It was like pretty much making a very thin pancake, almost like a crepe, but
And it took
I
you 10
haven't done
minutes
those in a minute.
at all. It's really fast.
I'm sorry?
But it only took you like 10 minutes. It was no time at all.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah. Trying to get a screenshot of
I'm sorry.
Oh, we need a screenshot. Let's wait for Leah to get her ice cream. It's her ice cream.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me check the ice cream again, and I think
trying
I
to be all
have someone who's
quiet and
gonna
sneak it in, but that didn't work.
see if I have
okay.
a tester.
Whoa.
Hey, can I grab a little tester here to taste this? Graham,
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to test this? I'm gonna take these out.
Can you guys still hear me?
Mm-hmm. You want to try food? Do you want food is what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Okay, then come in here.
I gotta take my Invisalign out.
Okay.
No, I can't reach anything, so I need you guys to take this. I can't manage. Good. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Is it good? He gave it a thumbs up.
It's like put them on camera and they get quiet.
Did we get a picture?
Ready?
Yeah. Got it? Are we good?
Yeah, we didn't smell it.
Long, you know? I have every piece of technology I own going. I have the iPad, Facebook. I have you guys on the computer. So I could let everybody in, and then I've got filming on the phone behind the computer.
Well, and I had to wear my AirPods, whatever they're called, or I can't hear you guys.
Oh, no. No, it was this book that I'm writing for teachers for the whole virtual online learning. One of the course on lighting, because lighting is important when you're teaching online. And so I was through and describing all the stuff today, and here I've got all I have more likes now than I, hey, Kira, I've had my color.
She's getting you food.
The kids come out when the food's ready.
That's right.
I heard you were reviewing food, so I was like, okay, time.
Time to eat. So what were you doing, Dee Dee? I'm sorry.
We have said something about like, but
So tell us more about your book.
I was doing these webinars, and I decided that even though all the schools were saying that they were going to go back, you know, full time, and some of them were saying hybrid, like Kelly's school apparently is doing, we'll see. I thought that's not going to happen. These teachers are not going to go back. Not the way things are right now. So really good guidance is put into place, and nobody's had time to put that kind of guidance into place. So the questions I was getting was, how do I do this and how do I do that, and how people just didn't know how, unless you're teaching already in a K-12 environment with everything like the K-12 online program or Connections Academy, or what's the other one? It's got a funny name, it starts with a D.
The con?
Or something, I don't know. Unless you're already doing that, you don't have the things that you really need. You don't understand how to set it up. You don't understand what is an appropriate amount of screen time, appropriate amount of screen time for the kids. And then once you figure that out, how do you structure your class so that you're respecting that and not overwhelming them with Zoom, because we all have Zoom for 2 days. Except for when I'm with you guys, it's all. So I just kind of mapped out, I made a roadmap of what I thought were the critical components in online learning, and started doing some reading, you know, journal articles and scholarly articles, and just putting it together. So now I'm just slapping this baby together, and it isn't going to be pretty in the beginning because school starts in a few weeks.
I'm sure.
School starts and
So, you know, pushing it out, little sections at a time to principals and teachers, and just trying to gather feedback and get it together. But yeah, it just focuses on everything from your class schedule to your personal schedule to classroom management to the lighting, the colors that you need to use to get things set up, different online platforms, different apps, different resources that are available to you online, and how to structure all of that and put it together, how to talk to the parents, how to kind of incorporate them into your tribe, Leah, another Aller tribe, now your Edu tribe, in a different way, but bringing them together so that you're providing education to them, because they don't know either. They don't know. And then the last chapter is self-care for the teacher, so that they don't get completely overwhelmed and burnt with this, and take all of that responsibility on themselves and understand this isn't for everybody, and give themselves a break a little bit, and how to really take care of their beings and all of this. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
you know, and that last chapter is so important because I sense teachers already being burnt out. The teachers here went back to school about a week ago, and the ones I know are already, they're trying to plan 2 lesson plans, because as of now, they're having some kids go back, some kids are doing hybrid, but they know they're going to end up doing hybrid, so they're trying to get everything. It's too much. It's too much to expect of our teachers. We're expecting too much from our parents, from our working parents, from our stay-at-home parents. It's too much. We have to, there's got to be a better balance, but I can't say what it is.
Yeah, I don't
I know my kids
figure it out.
You know, my kids are doing virtual school. We took that option because it's safer for our family. But I was like, wait a minute, they have to be online from 8:30 to 2:30 with breaks in here and there. But I have to work. My husband has to work. So I literally put an ad in for someone to come help us manage that. I have gotten 3 responses, 3. 2 of them were somewhat qualified. I was like, I can't even find someone. And then I have to figure out how to bring them in, masks, and, you know, safely.
Right.
So it's going to be a challenge that I think that's going to weigh on everyone's mental health. You know, the kids, the teachers, the administration, the parents. It's going to be a lot. And so it's just about figuring out. I was talking to a support group on a FaceTime Live, and I said, you really have to take it kind of day to day, minute to minute. And if this day it's too much, you just have to pull back a little bit. And so school is going to be different this year, and we probably won't learn as much, and we're going to have to catch up. And it's harder for those kids who are, you know, in the higher grades, but they're not alone. And there is also a big economic disadvantage. You know, the gap is widening because, of course, I can get a tutor, but, you know, people can't. Other people are depending on school so they can keep their job, so they can keep their house, so they can put food on the table. And certainly a tutor is not something that's even entering their mind. So there's a lot of things that as a society, I think we really need to be aware of.
We absolutely, it's interesting that you said that, because that was actually the section that I wrote today was about classroom management and disciplining these kids, but you need to understand where they're coming from and what their home environment is. And do they even have a parent home right now? Are they eating properly? Are they eating at all? Are they sleeping? What resources do we have? So before you start to take on classroom management in an online setting, we have to be really, really aware of the circumstances that are affecting these kids and why they're behaving the way they're behaving. So that's, and what do? The only thing you can do is be compassionate, be kind, try to understand, and try to find resources that will work for them. That's all you can do. It's going to be a new world, and teachers are going to have to give themselves a lot of forgiveness in this time and not blame themselves for a lack of learning, and principals and administrators and superintendents need to understand that as well. And I saw something really interesting. I think it was Twitter, actually, and I don't really do a lot of Twitter because I don't understand this tweet business. But one of the principals that I follow said that, during, it wasn't the plague, but it was one of those huge pandemics that we had, said nobody complained about how many students fell behind in their classwork. Their concern was keeping the kids alive.
Right.
So we just got to do what we do, keep everybody healthy, keep everybody safe, and get as possible under the circumstances. And the expectation is going to have to shift.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cry now.
Fine.
This was a fun
Drink
day.
that wine right now.
It's for a good cause. Drink that wine.
But I just do. I feel for the kids, but the book is for the teachers, because I really feel like we, as teachers, and I know you take it on, you take it personally. You take every single one of your students home with you every single day, and you figure out, why couldn't I reach that kid today? Why couldn't I reach that kid today? And when you've got 150, 175, 200 kids online, and you probably, on a good day, you're going to have 50% engagement, where the classroom you probably had 90, that's going to be huge. That's going to take a huge psychological toll on our educators.
Well, but again, it's keeping them along. So, I think part of the difficulty is there's so many school districts that have been flip-flopping back and forth about the schedule. Should we do this? Should we not do that? And the parents are like, we just finally got an answer. We had 3 or 4 different things floating around, and, everyone would get angry, then they'd get mad, then they'd do this. And, well, it's not definite. So it's, if there was consistency, I think that would be helpful. I know that's not easy to say because every state is different, but too much.
Yeah, I just want to know at this point, we have a pretty good plan because we picked virtual, but they keep moving the start date, which is annoying. I'm like, why are you moving the virtual start date? Just start school.
Yeah. Maybe to give the teachers a little bit more time to prepare.
I think, well, the first one they said was to give the teachers more time to prepare, but I think it was really because there's a state order that you can't have gatherings more than 50 people until after August 11th. And school is starting August 6th, so I don't know how that was supposed to work. But now they're meeting again, and the state board is meeting today to push it to September. And there seems to be a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and some of them don't really know the kids. The challenge with the state board is, the population is so, like any other state, so different around the state that moving it might be good for some areas, and moving it might, and just, it's weird not to know when school starts.
Because we think around when we have children home around the start of school. Everything.
Yeah.
So it makes, and then you have parents who are working full time, and now they make, if I were working full time out of the home, and Tom were working full time out of the home, and Kylie was in elementary school, what do we do if she's going to school from 8 to 12 every day? And there's no bus, they're not doing buses right now. So now someone has to go to school, and then 4 hours to pick her up from school, and then somebody needs to be with her and supervise her when she's home. it's just really, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine. It just makes me mad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of parents are facing. You know, we talked about it. One of us would have to leave our jobs or take furlough or something.
So it's going to be an interesting year.
Because daycares aren't open either. I don't know if they're open around you, but a lot of the daycares aren't open either.
There's some open near me. I was surprised because I went by the other day, and granted they were outside, but they were all outside with no masks. None of the educators were wearing masks, and they were pretty close. It wasn't like they were outside 6 feet apart. Everyone was just doing their own thing. But I mean, and it's impossible, in my opinion, when they're little kids. I mean, kids touch everything and want to be friendly, and that's just their nature. You know, how do you make a kid not be near anybody else? How do you, if the kid sneezes, what are you going to do? Like throw a tissue at them? So,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the disturbing things about all of this. And I understand the isolation and the distancing. I completely get it. But we've got children being born. And we've got toddlers running around and preschoolers running around. And now they're isolated. So their little immune systems aren't being built. So
Yeah.
we're now endangering them from catching everything instead of just a few things. And I'm not saying one is good or one is bad or one is better than the other, but there's just so many ramifications to this that I don't think people have really considered the consequences of isolation, especially on those babies, because my immune system is fine. A little baby's not. They've got to be exposed.
Yeah, that's why we need sort of the adults to be adults, wear the mask, kind of flatten this curve, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I bought some real pretty ones. I don't have it here. It's in the other room. But I like a scarf. I mean, it's got little patterns. I can breathe in it. It's so lovely.
I have a couple. I have a red one that I like. I think I posted a picture that, because I was at the Mayo Clinic last week and I had to wear a mask basically from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. And, it's fine. One thing I learned from the nurses was they either had these headbands that had buttons, so you didn't have it sort of on your ears, or to link just the kind of fabric hair ties to each other and loop it around the back of your head. It's just a little more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So by Wednesday, I was
really loose. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah, wearing a mask doesn't seem to bug my back of my ears because we've been doing it for so long at work and then out and about. I think it's because of my glasses, having wear glasses forever, because that's what I've heard from a lot of people. Like, if you wear glasses, it's okay. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, my son wears glasses and it didn't bother him. Mine, it didn't really bother me. It just was kind of rubbing and it was getting a little irritated, but that's probably true. Probably because you wear glasses, you're used to having something there.
Yeah.
So
I got the calluses built up, I guess.
And I have this one.
Oh,
Ooh, fancy.
cool.
That's cute.
When I bought it, I feel like I should be belly dancing or something.
Yeah.
Say, you need something like, does it have sparkles on it?
And when I bought it, I thought that because it's like this, and I thought it went over your head, and the mask was here, and you could just go whoop, 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 and not put it on and off, but it's not like that. So I might have to make one like that and just sell them. So you don't have to take it on and off. You can just drop it, and then you have a scarf on.
Oh, yeah.
I was very excited because I can breathe, and I don't feel like completely. And I chew gum in the car, and so when I get out of the car, I have to spit out my gum, and then I would have to take off my mask, and now I can just slip my hand under it, whoop, throw out my gum.
Me.
My
Well,
good
guys,
friend.
I'm going to wrap it up because I got to get back to work myself. But it was good chatting with everyone. Have a good afternoon.
So, and I can't wait. Recipes, so we post. Actually, I've got something I need to say to you guys, but I'll send you an email.
Okay. All right. I will link when this gets posted. I'll relink this recipe in there. And again, it was courtesy of Chocolate Covered Katie. Have a great day, everyone.
Mine's cool. Where did mine come from? It came from Vikalinka. She's not allergy friendly, but you can make it allergy. So I'll make those adjustments. All right, everybody. Great to see you.
Good seeing you.